Welcome back. We're here in my keto kitchen again. It's the fall time of year, which means everything pumpkin, pumpkin spice, blah, blah, blah. So I'm making pumpkin spice bread that is great for PSMF days. So Precision PSMF days, we have this nearly every night. We have some form of this bread every night for dessert, whether it's my lemon loaf, cinnamon bread, pumpkin spice bread. We even have it on non-PSMF days because it's the perfect end to a meal, and it's so low in carbs. It's just pretty much just protein. So today I'm making pumpkin spice protein sparing bread. So I make this so often. I do 2 at a time because, as I said, we have this every night for dinner. I make this just about every other day. So I'm making 2 loaves. I'll give you the ingredients for 1 loaf. Again, since I make it so often, I pre-measure all of my egg white powder so that I can just take out a container. I don't have to measure it. So I'm using cartoned egg whites today. And so it would be 6 egg whites or 205 grams of egg white carton eggs. To that, I'm adding French vanilla stevia. I sometimes use the caramel flavored stevia. I've used different flavors of stevia, and I do a squirt for each loaf. I'm making 2, so I'm doing 2 squirts. A squirt's probably about 1/4 teaspoon. You can use any sweetener you want. You can use your granular sweetener. The sweeteners actually make the egg whites whip up better. So when I make my savory protein sparing bread, they don't whip up as much because I don't put sweetener in them. To that I add, for 1 loaf, 27 grams of egg white powder and 1 teaspoon of gelatin. The gelatin improves the texture so much. You wouldn't believe it. So what I have been doing lately is I mix this in, and I have this really good egg white protein powder. There's a link below. And I mix it up, and I find that I used to get a lot of lumps with other egg white powders. I don't get lumps with this. And sometimes I add the pumpkin spice in the beginning, and sometimes I wait, but I will add it today. 1 teaspoon to 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, and I make my own spice, and I have since the beginning of the pandemic when you could not find a lot of things in the grocery store. If you're only making 1 loaf, you can use a hand mixer. If you're doing 2 loaves with 12 egg whites, you need a stand mixer. You're going to mix this on high for up to 6 minutes or until stiff peaks form. So I'm put it into my loaf pans. I love the silicone loaf pans. I have my oven heated to 325. I make this so often I don't even need to have my recipe with me because when you make it just about every other day. And we went on vacation a week ago, and I like to bring a lot of my own food, so every day I was making this bread so we'd have enough for the week that we were gone to have this bread every night for dessert. And it really helps to bring your own food, I have found, so that I can stay clean keto. We did eat out a couple of times, and it was like, nah, this doesn't even taste good. I don't want bubbles in it, so I try to smooth it down. Whether it flattens it somewhat, maybe. Particular bread doesn't usually rise that much. My lemon loaf, when I make my lemon loaf, I did that video this summer. We love the lemon loaf, but that will rise more, and the texture of the lemon loaf it's different. I don't know how the lemon juice reacts, but it's like cake. It's more like cake. So you're going to put this in a 325 degree oven for half an hour. Then after a half hour, you're going to turn the oven off, and you're going to let it sit there. And I let it sit in the oven for several hours. I used to take it out after an hour, and I found that it actually falls faster. So now I make my bread in the morning, and late afternoon I'll take it out, and it seems to stay risen longer that way. So I'm going to put this in the oven, 325 degrees for a half hour. Shut the oven off and leave it in for several hours. But I made this yesterday so that I could show you what it looks like right away. So I'll put this in the oven. What I normally do is I make this and I put it in the refrigerator for overnight before I cut it, and it keeps it nice and soft. So this is what I made yesterday. Oh, so I'm going to try this now. I love this. Pumpkin pie spice, protein sparing bread. This is really good. Totally acceptable on Precision PSMF days, but we have it every day. So enjoy.